Good morning, welcome back. Slightly different area for chat this morning on my channel. You will start to see over the coming months things are going to change a little bit over here. Now that my children are getting bigger, I want to start talking about other things that I am interested in, and that is kind of like the events kind of world. Events world, a lot of it is around weddings. As a family we have a bar business and catering business. Well, it's my mum's businesses actually, but me and my sister have quite a lot of input. If you know me in my personal life, you'll know that I love anything to do with event planning, decoration, that kind of thing. That is like what I love to do. So even if I've not got a party coming up, so the kids haven't got a party, we've not got a party, it's not Christmas, I'm forever still sat there pinning away, planning for somebody else, just looking at what's out there and so on. So today I want to start that off by telling you the top trends for 2020 or 2020 for weddings. So what to expect, what to start to see coming through with themes this year. So to get started, the first one is like all around foliage and the natural things. So expect lots of foliage, greenery, leaves. It's a little bit bordering on boho, but not quite, because it is a little bit more ordered. You'll find most of the time it will just be like greens and whites, so you may start to see or have already seen bridesmaids all in white, with the green bouquets to match the bride. That's not unpopular this year. We'll start to see it more and more and more this year. And other things are, it fits within that eco theme, so we don't want to be having lots of rubbish after a big event. It's on the forefront of everyone's mind, being conscious of the rubbish that we are having to dispose of after these things. We want things to stay natural, we want to look after the environment, and using leaves and foliage and that kind of thing from our garden. So think of logs, twigs, stones, whatever it may be, it's all natural and it's all on hand to the majority of us. Obviously those of you that live bang in the middle of the city may have to be purchasing those, but even then they're all compostable items and we're not just filling landfill with that kind of stuff. So I'm going to share some photos around it while I'm talking it through, but you can start to expect things like linen in there. So for your placemats or your napkins, linen, natural fibres, natural colours, neutral colours, things that will allow the greenery and your table runners and your table decorations and your bouquets and your place name cards and all that kind of stuff to really shine and not take away from it. So we wouldn't necessarily see some super fancy napkins and cutlery and crockery with this theme, but we would expect everything else to like outshine that. So I've got my notes here if I keep looking down. This theme fits the DIY theme perfectly. So if you are somebody that likes to get stuck in and start building your own displays, your own table decorations, your own garlands around where you will be signing the register, the aisle, you want to start decorating the aisle, then this theme is right up your street. It's also great because it doesn't have to be uniform. It can be super casual. You can go as hard as you like, or you can keep it as restrained as you like. It's completely up to you. It also fits a really minimal theme because again, you don't have to like fill everywhere with decoration. You don't have to keep to an exact theme. You can go a little bit wild if you like. Another great thing about this theme is it's classic. It's not going to date. You're not going to look back at your photos in 10 years time and think, what was I doing? How can leaves date and just neutral colours date? They can't. When we get onto some of the other themes shortly, they possibly could. Of course, that doesn't necessarily need to be at the forefront of your mind. If, however, it is, then this could be a good theme for you. It's also inexpensive. So yeah, it's a great winner. And next up is Clashing Brights. At the moment, we are currently busy building through a style shoot for this theme. I'm going to share it over on this channel with you, and it's all about those clashing brights. So think orange and pinks and teals and yellows and oranges, anything that really clashes. It's bringing in a little bit of like an Eastern coloured theme in, but it's not necessarily following that trend. So anything clashing and bright. Again, you can have so much fun with this, and especially if it's a summer wedding, you could go really go all out. So for our style shoot, we're thinking of huge honeycomb balls, pom-poms, all in clashing brights. We're looking currently at saris to line the tables with, just because they are ready-made fabrics that are already beautifully, exquisitely coloured and embellished, and you can find them in second-hand or charity shops. And we're just going to go all out. So you could embed lights into that, candles, you could go as wild as you chose. Great places to look for that kind of thing are places like HomeSense or TK Maxx if you're from the UK. I'm trying to think where else. The Range. Also, go wild in your charity shops again. Look for old glass that is coloured. You can even paint your own glass. Have a look up on Pinterest. Again, something that I'm probably going to cover in the coming weeks. Something that's super easy, inexpensive. You could change up glass really easily. So watch this space for more of that. Again, I will have popped up some photos whilst I'm chatting about this, and I absolutely love this theme. It may potentially be one that will date, but I think it will forever be a talking point, and the photos you get could be dramatic and really beautiful. Next up is slightly similar to the first one we talked about with the foliage, but this one is a garden theme. Think more of like, makes me think of like Peter Rabbit in the gardens, so allotment style. So lots and lots of foliage again, but perhaps with more flowers intertwining into there, so you could choose a specific colour, or you could just go with whatever is in season at the time, or whatever you can forage from the garden or woodlands or wherever else it may be. So it's similar to the first one, but you would need flowers. Usually with the garden theme we would find more neutral colours, but again, it's completely up to you. It's flexible. You go with what you want to do. Think of like ceramic pots on the table, so like flower pots. They could either have your food within them, so if you're looking at grazing tables and that kind of thing, plant pots can work wonderfully. Garden crates, that kind of thing. Old pieces of timber, logs, anything like that. Your ceramic pots could also have plants and shrubs on them on your tables instead of flowers. I personally absolutely love that. For a start, you could just go around all your friends and families and pinch all their plants, borrow, not pinch, and it would look wonderful. Or even if you're buying new, they're going to be the similar kind of prices to what you're paying for your flowers, if not cheaper, probably quite a lot cheaper actually. And afterwards, you use them for yourself or you give them as thank you gifts. Up to you. That's something to think about. Next theme is an old favourite of mine, but it's coming back in year after year after year. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and that is vintage. Not necessarily like that shabby theme, but more vintage, so more detailed, pretty, pastel, that kind of colours. Doesn't need to be fussy. It depends on you, on how fussy you choose that to be. You could be looking at your pastels and your muted colours. This type of theme works wonderfully if you want to mismatch your colours up, so you could have different tables, different tones. Your bridesmaids could be in different tones, your place name cards and so on. Your crockery, vintage crockery is really easy to come across nowadays. Charity shops are full of it, but there are also lots of suppliers out there that will hire it for you. So for example, my mum's catering business, their hire of their vintage crockery is included in their afternoon tea. You can have a route around thrift shops, charity shops, and you will find bags and bags of vintage things. Shabby chic for the home was a massive trend a couple of years ago. That's now phased out, but what that actually means is people are now redonating back to these charity shops things they bought a couple of years to upcycle, and they've gone back in. But it works beautifully for a wedding because it's like a true theme that you can really play on. Again, if you're into that DIY wedding thing, you can go crazy here. Think of upcycling furniture, little suitcases, jewellery. So if you can find big pearl necklaces, they work wonderful in your decorations. Lace looks beautiful on tables, and things like if you were having a dessert table and that kind of stuff, you could really dress it up with these things. Finally is boho chic. So this fits into some of the other themes a little bit, But this is more of a romantic boho. So boho has been in for quite some time, but it seems to be evolving. At the moment it is all around boho romantic, so going more into that romantic side of things, muted colours once again. It's eclectic, so what that means is, again, you don't have to worry about following this trend exactly. You can do what you feel fits in there. It can be mismatched, and you can have pops of colour. So if you wanted the colour still, you wanted a bit of bright, but you didn't fancy the clashing brights, you could bring in pops of fuchsia or lilac or yellow, whatever you wanted to do, choose your favourite colour and bring that in with it. So here with this theme, you're not aiming for perfection, you're aiming for that slightly mismatched, not messy, but not formal way, atmosphere and environment. Think of things like pampas grass, big leaves, so things like ferns. You could build big arches that have lots of foliage with pops of colour in there. You could be lining your aisle with lots of foliage and fairy lights. Fairy lights and candles are a big part of boho. I'm going to share some images for you here, some of my favourites. And again, watch this space because very soon I'm going to be sharing a style shoot all around that. If you think there's a big trend here for this year, 2020, that I've missed out, please let me know. I would love to hear more. I absolutely love this kind of thing, and if you have Pinterest boards for your wedding, that kind of thing, share them with me. I would love to go along and follow them, and feel free to follow mine. I will share my handle down below in the description box. Have a great Monday, and I will see you all very soon.